Witness, this appears to be the end of our association in the courtroom. Thank you for being with us. You can be seated.
Mr. Rubin, going back to 1999, do you recall when you arrived in Rambouillet for the talks?
Yes, I recall arriving after they had been going on for some number of days. It was Madeleine Albright, as Secretary of State, considered this an issue of prime importance to her, and things that were important to her were important to me, and she knew that she and I had the closest understanding of each other's views, so she sent me on ahead of her trip by about a week to go to the site, to meet with the negotiators, and to begin to formulate the policy that was a dramatic thing to try to bring peace and prevent what we feared was a upcoming mass slaughter of Kosovar Albanians through a peace conference.
And by the time of your arrival, do you know whether the Kosovo Albanian delegation had already chosen its chairperson?
I do know, yes.
And had they?
Yes.
And who was that?
That was Hashim Thaçin.
And did you know at the time, or do you know now, why Hashim Thaçin was chosen by the Kosovo Albanian delegation as its chair?
No, not for sure. We just knew that they had picked him. He was saying he couldn't say yes without an explicit declaration for independence, because there were those in his movement, the KLA commanders. He was saying if he didn't use the word independence and agreed to that, he was being perceived as giving up independence. It was a really hard moment. And he was explaining that he wasn't in charge of anything. He was a reflection of a movement. And many people in that movement wanted independence now. He couldn't accept that because he was told that he would be, as he put it, seen as a traitor.
Now, I want to go to the role and position of Mr. Demaci on Rambouillet and the negotiation, and you've already touched upon all of these, but I'll take you through that path once again. Is it fair to suggest that Demaci's opposition to any agreement in Rambouillet was that would fall short of independence was well known at the time? Would you agree with that?
It was well known once Madeleine Albright spoke to him. It was well known to me and her and others.
And are you aware of the fact that Mr. Demaci at the time considered that to sign any interim agreement would be an error on the part of the KLA? Were you aware of this?
I got that impression, yes.
Now, during the negotiation process, and we've just seen it a moment ago, there were indications that Mr. Thaçin either went or tried to go to Slovenia to meet with Mr. Demaci to convince him to change his mind on this issue. Do you recall these questions?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that Mr. Thaçin failed to make Mr. Demaci change his mind on this, correct?
That seems fair.
And nevertheless, Mr. Thaçin, as we know with hindsight, was able to sign the agreement on behalf of the KLA, correct?
Correct.
So would you agree with the suggestion that as far as the KLA was concerned, the view of Mr. Thaçin prevailed over that of Mr. Demaci, and that they were somehow able either to overcome or to ignore the views of Mr. Demaci on this matter? Would you agree with?
Except, yes, with one caveat, sir. Hashim Thaçin had something Adam Damaci didn't have, which is the promise from the United States of America and the US military and the NATO alliance and the West and the world in his hands that if I sign and the Serbs don't sign, the United States of America will initiate military campaign against the Serb forces. No one else had that promise in their personal hands other than him. The world sort of knew that. It was implied in all the public articles, but we had made that commitment to him personally. I did. Mrs. Albright, Secretary Albright did. I believe Wes Clark did as well, the NATO Supreme Allied Commander. So to have that information in an amorphous situation like that made Mr. Thaçin's views very powerful, regardless of his status in any organization that might or might not have a structure. Nobody else had that, and that gave him power.
Thank
My
you.
opinion.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning, witness. I'm going to start by showing you a document.
I heard that, but I regarded it as propaganda. Provisional government was an aspiration, not a reality. There was no provisional government. They just said they wanted to create one, and at that time, they were under attack. They were all in separate places. There was no place they could be a government.
Of my portfolio included contributing to the American brand.